Random Show episode number 49 with your host, AgostinhoZinga. What's going on, family? What's going on, family? Hope you are good in at the place. First time I've ever done a stream live, on time, not a minute late, not a minute before, right on bloody time. Make sure you smash that like to give me a pat on the back, if you may. Thank you. Much appreciated. Today's stream's going to be really short. Might be probably an hour top, so not going to be too long because I've got stuff to do, people to see, money to make. You know what I mean? But still, I thought I'd drop in because of that recent news and development concerning the epic struggle of manhood, manliness, alphaness, redactedness that is Dana White v. Brendan Schaub. It's a battle for the ages. It keeps rumbling on and on and on and on. It's our version, right? You know what it is? Dana White v. Brendan Schaub. It's our version of Nicki Minaj versus Cardi B. They don't get along. They're never going to be friends, but they're also never going to fight. So they're always going to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth on the internet. And it's going to be great entertainment for us. Like I keep saying to all you guys, I remember before when I used to do this stuff, because I was thinking the other day, right, as weird as it may be, I might have been one of the first persons or people on YouTube that started to make like content about like comedians and stuff, right? And about podcasts, because it's a bit weird. It's really weird and it's a bit lame to be sitting here talking about what other people talk about. I don't ever think I don't know that. How insanely silly it is that I sit on here and pontificate and dissect what people say on podcasts when they're usually just saying stuff just to say it. So it's nonsense. But I think I might have been the first one to do a comedy thing, right? And I remember when I was doing it at the time, I felt super, because it's already embarrassing to have a podcast. Honestly, I never tell people in real life I have a podcast. If they find it, they find it. But I'm never going around telling everybody, hey, sub to my podcast, do this. I don't give a shit. I keep it private. It's to myself. But if you find me, you find me. Cool. So imagine it's already lame that you do a podcast, right? It's fucking lame. Then secondly, you do a podcast talking about what other people have spoken about and who are way more successful than you are, right? And then you're trying to dissect what they say. You sound like an absolute loser with a capital L. But I remember when I started doing it, and I think it was the beginning of the pandemic, so it might have been like it might have been the end of 2019, beginning of 2020. Don't quote me on it, but I think it was when I started doing the comedy stuff. I remember telling people, because I used to get loads of hate comments, you're talking about people that are way more successful than you, why don't you go do something yourself, all these comments, right? Which I understand, because I felt that way too. But my retort, my comeback was always, this whole comedy stuff, I swear to God, is our version. It's our, I would say, mate, because I'd imagine most of my fans or most of the people that watch the stuff I do are men. I think this is our version of like the Kardashians. This is our version of watching like, I don't know, My 500 Pound Life, 40, whatever. What's the other one? There's loads of those kind of reality TV shows, which are usually, I would say, targeted towards the women and the gays for the most part, right? Usually a lot of straight guys don't usually sit there and watch Kardashians. I know some do, but not a lot of them do. But I do know a lot of us follow these podcasts and we love all the little gossip that hangs around behind the scenes. We love all the interpersonal stuff, all the little beefs. It's quite interesting to see. So I think this is what it is. This is like our version of the Kardashians. It's really strange, but I honestly do think it's our version of the Kardashians. So that's why sometimes when I see this stuff, I get really embarrassed. I get excited. Like, now look how hype I am about this new news. I get embarrassed that I'm getting hyped about this drama, but still, it is good entertainment. And for once, it does distract us from the horrors of everyday life, bruv. Like, you know, the war is kind of winding down over there in Ukraine. There's stuff happening in Israel. There's stuff happening in Greece. There's things popping up in Dublin. There's things popping up, of course, here in the UK. RIP to Chris Cabba, who was unlawfully killed by an armed police officer with no reason. The officer has already been sacked or is on, I think, whatever, gardening leave or something. Shit's happening all over the place. We've got the issue happening with fucking Trump, with all those papers at Mar-a-Lago. We've got Biden with half his brain hanging out of his head. All this nonsense is happening. So sometimes these comedians can give us some content, some funny distractions from the horrors of everyday life, then I'm here for it. I don't care if it's GAY, I don't care if it's lame, I don't care if you guys laugh. It is funny, it is entertaining, and it distracts us from the horrors of everyday life. So whatever, I don't care. Anyway, so if it's your first time, check out the Random Show. You know what to do. Smash the like if you like what you see, like what you hear. Obviously, hit subscribe if you want to come back another time. All that good stuff. You know what the deal is. And as per usual, we're just going to keep running through to the news. And yeah, I'm hype. Alpha, I'm hype, Alpha. I'm hype, because this news is legitimately some of the most redacted SHIT I've ever seen in my life. Hands down. And before we begin, actually, I'm gonna make sure, because I can see myself. Am I skipping frames a little bit? I think I'm skipping frames a little bit. So I'm going to remove all the windows that I usually have up, because as per usual, Agostino many windows Zinga loves a good window. I love a good window. I love a good window with loads of tabs, and then I can play. My computer doesn't work. My computer works fine. I just don't know how to use it properly, because I'm a redact, capital R, redact. I don't know how to treat my things. Then I complain that they don't work, when in fact they do work. I'm just a redact. So if I'm skipping frames now, just wait. I'm closing the windows. I'm closing the windows. I'm closing the windows and buffering and stuttering. Hopefully, if you watch this back, you don't skip it now. Now, but honestly, it's gonna be loading in a minute. Just give me a little second, and I promise it'll be there. Yeah, I'm gas, Promo 187. I'm gas. Yeah, let's go. Let's go, bruv. Let's dissect this unself-aware king, bruv. The man who's lacking in the most... like, I've never seen someone in my life who lacks more self-awareness than Brendan Schaub. He is the gift that keeps on giving. But I can't figure it out. In the back of... I want to laugh, but I'm also hesitant to laugh because it's working for him. It works. So I'm wondering, is that a real key ingredient to be successful on the internet? To just be to be like lacking in self-awareness. Just be like... head up your own ass, think your shit doesn't stink. That must be the cheat code. I swear to God, man. I swear to God. Swear to God. But yeah, let me get rid of the screen. Bear with me a second. It's still coming off. I know it's taking longer, especially what people are saying here. Bring you the noise. When will you make the switch to your nation's pride, drum and bass? Bruv, I listen to drum and bass, Slippy McSlappy. Drum and bass is fucking the white people's version of jungle. I listen to the OG stuff. Jungle, mate. Jungle was the flipping genesis of drum and bass. Then drum and bass came along, and then they turned it into fucking bass and got rid of the drum. And it's just loads of, white kids on fucking methadone headbanging and shit. You know what I mean? Nah. I'm a big fan of that stuff. I used to go to Scala back in the day. I'm there, man. I'm there. All right, cool. So are we back? Am I good? Am I still skipping frames, or is it mad? What's going on? Am I back? Am I skipping frames? Good stream. What are people saying here? You're on point tonight. Yeah, brother. Let's do this, man. Let's laugh, innit? Let's laugh together. Like I said, it's not gonna be long. It might be an hour tops, but I'm gonna steamroll through these topics, and we're gonna have a good time. Hopefully, it's loading and it's not too bad. Is it still horrible? Actually, let me check it on my phone, because I can just check it on my phone, in real time. In real bloody time. So let's see what I go on for this. Let's see what you guys are saying. Is it all right now? I'm not skipping frames anymore, am I? Or am I still skipping frames? Let me know in the chat. Let me know. Am I skipping frames or nah? Let me know. Am I cute or nah? Come on, man. Let me know. Is the kid cute or is he not? I'm good, right? Cool. Let me see. Shall I load? Let me see if I'm alright on my phone. Oh, it's buffering hard on my phone. So I'm alright. I think I'm alright now. I think I'm good. The Gringo Pappy disrupting the stream. But I'm alright. I think I should be fine now. Am I good now? I'm not skipping frames anymore, I don't think. I think it's okay. Or am I good? Sounds okay now. Do I look okay? Am I okay now? Can you see me moving around and shit? Yeah? Yeah? Is it good or nah? Let me know. Do I have to restart the stream, or can I just power through? I'm gonna just power through. No one's talking back to me. I'm gonna power through. Fuck it. All right, cool. So, first things first, right? I want to touch upon random thing to talk upon, right? Still bad. Sounds good, but frozen. Really? So you can't see me? How about now? Man's frozen solid. No way. Really? I'm good. Am I frozen solid still? Am I frozen solid? Define bullying. That's LOL. Am I still frozen solid? Screen is locked. Oh my god, what's happening here, bruh? Only sounds okay. Alright, cool. But I'm still skipping frames, yeah? Alright, cool. Power through it. Just because you put it on a pair of design jeans. Is it good? Or am I still... it still looks like I'm skipping, doesn't it? Oh, man, annoying! Long delay too. Alright, cool. Alright, you know what? Is it not working? It looks okay now. Is it okay now? Now I'm good, yeah? So I'm good now. Alright, cool. I'm good now. Let's say I'm good now. Okay, cool. So I'm better now. Alright, cool. Good to know. Good to know. Alright. We're back. We're back now. You can see me, yeah? Okay. Alright. Now. So, first things first, let's power through this, man. Power through this. Hopefully, people that watch this after, I'm not going to be shocked by it. What the hell is this stream? And it doesn't matter. Cool. Power through. One thing I wanted to mention here that I thought was absolutely nuts. Can we just give a big shout out to Aries Spears for being one of the most redacted people to ever walk the face of the earth? He single-handedly shot his career in the foot. I wouldn't even say in the back of the ear. He shot himself in the back of the ear with his career for no apparent reason. And he's now had so much bad luck that's followed him so far. So if you're not familiar, Aries Spears out of nowhere, without being prompted, with just little to no regard for the person's feelings, he went straight away and attacked Lizzo. Started saying Lizzo's fat, started saying she looks like a shit emoji, just being really mean without any reason, right? He doesn't know Lizzo, she doesn't know him, really insane out of the blue, but I guess you're trying to be funny, get a bit of, clout behind him or go a bit viral. It goes viral, but for all the wrong reasons. And if you know anything about social media, you'll know, in general, you can't take the piss out of people that occupy the rainbow flag. And you also can't take the piss out of women in general. Especially if you're a man. You can't go online and start saying, commenting on women's appearances and all that sort of nonsense. It's not going to go down well. And for some reason, he didn't think that way, and he went ahead and did it anyway. He goes ahead and does it. The internet attacks him. They start attacking him for his own looks, which is a bit counterintuitive, but anyway, it happens. And then I'm assuming because Lizzo is a fucking is so adored and loved by the public, I'm assuming there's power players behind the scenes also that can affect your fucking career. They obviously start putting the kibosh on him. And then all of a sudden, guess what happens? This story fucking comes out of the blue about Aries Spears and Tiffany Haddish, being involved in some skit that involves a minor or something nonsense or some horrible stuff like that. That comes out of the blue out of nowhere. Are they linked? I'm not too sure. Who knows? And then now he's basically in the doldrums because no one wants to flipping hang out with him or put him on his flipping thing because of all the drama that's around him. And now Aries Spears is here flipping, what's his face? Complaining and now saying his career is dead because of what happened to Lizzo. Well, no shit, Sherlock. No bloody shit. So let's play what Aries Spears has to say now in terms of his career being over. But again, he has no one else to blame but himself. What an absolute redact.
Tell you something. As much as I'm nervous, as much as in the back of my mind, because I already felt like my career was over before all this. I thought I was blackballed and my shit was over. But I always said I felt like I was one thing away from the turnaround. But now with this, I'm almost certain that Tombstone is written. But and maybe this is me being naive, maybe this is me being corny, but from the day my mother had my back and groomed me into this thing called showbiz, I believed everything she said. I believed every word. I believed she's the reason why I'm here. So if the woman whose body I came out of says I'm gonna be all right, all right.
Dude, I think that this is everybody loves a good comeback story.
Nah, nigga, you're not that. That's the thing. Honestly, this goes back to the Brendan Schaub thing. These motherfuckers don't actually realize. They don't actually realize how popular or unpopular they are. How well known or not well known they are. I don't think they realize that. I don't know why it is. Maybe it's the followers they have on social media. Maybe it's the amount of likes they get in comments. They attribute those to real people. They think if they get 20,000 comments, it's 20,000 individual people commenting on their shit. Even if it is, those 20,000 people could be from all over the fucking world. So it's not as if they can all back you or come to your shows or buy your merch anyway. Or sometimes they don't even want to do that stuff. So I don't understand this idea that they have in their heads where they think they're bigger than what they actually are. Aries Spears has no business insulting Lizzo. Maybe Jimmy Kimmel could do it. Jimmy Kimmel could probably make a joke about Lizzo's weight and maybe ride it, but not Aries Spears. He's not that well known. He doesn't have that clout. He's not that well. He's not that famous. He's clearly not that liked even in the industry because when he made that comment, no one came up and backed him up. So, as much as it pains me to see another black man go through this struggle, you only have yourself to blame, brother. Why did you go after Lizzo? Like, honestly, that was the worst target to pick ever in the history of targets. And now his career is essentially done. And then on the other side of things, to make it even worse, to make it even flipping worse, Lizzo's out here shining, winning Emmys for a TV show no one fucking watched. Right? Did you guys watch the Lizzo show? Do you even know that Lizzo had a TV show? I think she had a show about fat girls being able to dance. I think it was a show for the girls to be part of her like backing dancers or something. I don't know. Some sort of show about girls who wanted to dance who are bigger and don't fit social norms, blah blah blah. Very touching, very like American Idol, X Factor type stuff, right? And obviously she won an Emmy for it because some people watched it. I know I didn't, and they loved it. So she's here shining, winning these flipping lovely awards, looking healthy, looking hydrated and well moisturized and just happy and gleaming. And on the other side of things, you got Aries Spears here crying in what looks like to be a hotel room somewhere on the road. How horrible is that? But again, that's the brutality of the Hollywood industry. I don't understand why someone like him, who's so experienced, such a veteran, been in the scene for so long, would do such a big mistake at it, like going up to someone like Lizzo. I do not understand it. That viral little thing that he had for a week where everyone was taking the piss out of him was not worth it, because essentially he has murdered his career. And this is again before all that kind of weird pedo stuff came out. This is even worse. And then, of course, you follow it with that skit with the kid that might be underage. I don't know. These guys, sometimes I really do wonder for them how they could do such a thing and fuck up their career. It makes no sense. This guy's a family. You have a wife. You have kids to put through school and stuff. You have to be careful with your career, especially nowadays with the way the world is. It would be nice if you could just say what you wanted to say and take the piss out of people who are short, fat, small, whatever. But you can't. Pick your people you're going to face or you're going to go after wisely. Please, if you don't mind. Then, powering through. This is a weird reference, but hopefully you guys get it. This is going to be some way linked to what we're going to be talking about next about Brendan Schaub v. Dana White. I'm really in two minds, right? Like I said, let me get myself on the screen. No, it doesn't matter. I'm mainly on two minds here. At some point, I do like to laugh at what Brendan does sometimes and, the redacted things that he does and the silly things he says and whatever it may be. And I also like to laugh at somehow, how incredibly lacking in self-awareness he must be, or that he is at times. But then there's a part of me that thinks to myself, maybe he knows something that we don't, because he's figured it out monetarily, right? Like in terms of materialistic success, right? He's got the car, he's got the mansion, he's got the wife, he's got the kids, he's got the career, Joe Rogan's friend, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff, right? The things that people on Instagram like to see, right? He's got that stuff kind of ticked out. So maybe there is something to be said for lacking self-awareness, being very up your own bum, and having no ability to be honest about yourself or to have any sort of form of humility that can make you be successful on the internet. Maybe there is a part of it. And that kind of weird delusion where you think the world revolves around you, like you are always the main character in your own movie. Maybe there is something in it. Because this guy here on the screen, his name is Austin McBroom, and he's part of the Ace family. And he just got, brutally knocked out in a boxing fight that he had on. And the reason, everyone loses boxing fights, but, he's got a bit of a bad reputation online. His family are known to maybe sometimes allegedly scam their fans. This Austin McBroom sometimes kind of conflicts the truth, but I see a lot of similarities between Austin McBroom and Brendan Schaub in their personalities. And the reason why is this clip I'm going to play now. Austin McBroom gets knocked out at this YouTuber fight thing he did, right, in a very brutal way. He gets taken to hospital, obviously, as a precaution. And in the hospital, Some nurses and doctors recognize him because he's one of the most popular family channel guys out there, right? So they recognize him. And hear how Austin McBroom interprets, right? Interprets an interaction with nurses and doctors in the hospital. Hear how he interprets it.
Shit, I'll even joke with y'all. I got a funny story to tell you guys. Last night, when I got to the hospital, there was a few doctors, a few nurses that knew who I was. A few of them were part of the Ace family, and they had the nerve to ask me, Austin, what happened?
He cannot figure out in his head why fans of his, who happen to be nurses and doctors, maybe wouldn't know what happened to him and why he's in the hospital. He assumes everybody that's his fan knows every single thing that he gets up to. They know when he's fighting, they know what he uploaded, what he said this. Like, it's insane. And forget all that. They're working. They're at their fucking job. Probably working 16-hour days. 0 breaks. Why would they fucking know or have an up-to-minute date, update on your fucking boxing fight or whatever it may be? And he's legitimately like, he can't believe it. Like, how do they not know?
Oh, man. And all I could do was laugh. Like, that's all I could do.
What's his tattoo say? Steel Boy. I thought it said Star Boy. God almighty, mate. Those are the most fuckboy tattoos you could ever see, innit?
And I was like, you guys didn't see it? Like, they were like, no, what happened? I'm like, just go watch it.
But yeah, that's my point. I think Austin McBroom and flipping Brendan Schaub will be great friends. They're very similar in their personalities, like 100% similar. Absolutely incredible. He gets knocked out, gets taken to hospital, and he's surprised that the nurses and doctors don't know exactly the condition, why he's in that condition, what happened, even though they're fans of his. What? Come on, man. Anyway, whatever. So, let's get into the pièce de résistance. So, as most of you guys know, Brendan Schaub is having a bit of a back and forth with Dana White. And it all kind of stems from UFC 279. So, UFC 279, there's this weird conspiracy theory that went around it because of what happened with Khamzat Chimaev and the weigh-ins and him missing weight, and then UFC having to step in and do some last-minute changes to the fight card, which meant, Nate Diaz had to fight Tony Ferguson, and then Khamzat Chimaev, had to then go and fight Kevin Holland. Some fans or some people were floating the idea around that maybe the UFC purposely made Khamzat miss weight because they realized after the fact that maybe the matchup between Khamzat and Nate was a really one-sided one. And Khamzat would have ran through Nate and made it look like flipping light work. If you made Kevin Holland look like light work, imagine what he would have done to Nate Diaz. So people were hypothesizing or putting out this idea, this conspiracy theory, that maybe the UFC did it on purpose. Like they did it on purpose, to try to drive up sales by having this weird mismatch. It didn't work. They didn't have enough pay-per-views, and then they went to switch it last minute and make it compelling because Khamzat and Kevin Holland's crew had a bit of a beef behind the scenes. So if they made this fight between Khamzat and Kevin, there'll be a story and narrative there. Then you can have Nate Diaz facing Tony Ferguson, who's another legend that they should have fought for a long time, but they didn't. So that's the whole conspiracy theory around it, right? It's a really weird one. Doesn't really make much sense, but that's kind of where the conspiracy theory kind of lies, right? From what I can understand. But as per usual, for the benefit of the video, let's just put on the article here that kind of describes it a bit better in case you guys didn't understand my fucked up English. So it is courtesy of MMA Mania, not SB Nation. So as following. Did Khamzat Chimaev purposely miss weight? Or did the promotion capitalize on a boar's misstep to save a dying fight card? Both conspiracies are on the table this week after the Friday's weigh-in disaster, which resulted in 3-fight shuffle, including UFC 279 main and co-main events. Former UFC heavyweight and attraction-turned-wacky stand-up comedian Brendan Schaub told his Twitter followers that Chimaev's epic scale fail may have been allowed the promotion to rework it. So this is Brendan Schaub's tweet, right? That kind of maybe shed light on the conspiracy theory. But that conspiracy theory already existed, but he shed light on it. But to be fair to Brendan, let's be fair to him also. this was also a very clever way to market his own fight. What's it called? Sorry, Thick Boy Fight News. So obviously he's trying to boost the views on that, get that going. He's got his own YouTube thing started up. So this is all, I think, a calculated attempt to get himself in the news, get himself some virality and all that stuff. And to be honest, it's kind of worked because everyone doesn't like him anyway. So they're willing to kind of stick their foot in there and, or kick him while he's quote unquote down. But he obviously still gains from it by getting the coverage. So he says as follows. The original tweet from his network says, breaking, Dana White now says major changes to UFC 279 card, Nate Diaz v Tony Ferguson, Hamzat Chimaev versus Kevin Holland, both fights will be 5 rounds. Then Brendan quotes that and says, thank God, hashtag UFC 279 is still happening, but doesn't it all seem a little fishy? Are all these all 3 main fights get switched? I don't know if why is it instead of it's like you're hungry, but hey, who knows? Hashtag conspiracy, hashtag Earth is not flat. So, clearly trying to get in there, make a bit of a joke, not funny, but you get it. Schaub's theory led to an immediate Twitter response from retired UFC Ben Askren, who suggested the promotion was not in the conspiracy theory business last weekend, primarily because it cost Dana White and it's out of pocket to repair the tattered fight card. Yeah, so obviously Ben Askren kind of put him in his place. Brendan Schaub replied and said, I agree. I'm sure everyone got paid. I don't think it's due to Hamzat missing weight. I think it got switched due to UFC 279 not trending well since it was such a mismatch. I don't get this conspiracy theory, this idea that people won't watch mismatches. I think if you wanted to put a fight with fucking TJ Dillashaw and fucking Francis Ngannou, that would sell fucking mad amount of tickets. People would go. People want to see that. People like to see freak shows, like to see freak events. What's that? Do you guys remember that video of that woman? It looks like a mum, it's just like a Karen, and she gets into the ring with like a trained fucking MMA fighter woman, and she absolutely obliterates her in like 5 seconds. People pay tickets to watch that fight also. And that video has got many millions of views. So this idea that mismatches don't sell well is really, really dumb. Maybe fight cards with fighters that people don't know or aren't invested in, fair enough, but not mismatches. You say mismatch, they say televised execution. Either way, UFC veteran and renowned MMA coach Pat Miletich got dragged into the back and forth. Okay, cool. So anyway, so that's the kind of the background of it, right? The conspiracy theory. Then, to make matters worse, I guess the conspiracy theory found its way back to flipping. That's conspiracy theory I want to talk about. Yeah, let me continue. Let's fill it in again. So this is then Brendan Schaub going on his own show, the Schaub Show, and filling in more details as to why he thinks the thing he thinks, right? This is him kind of explaining it. It's a 5-minute clip. I do apologize. You have to listen to him try to pontificate and make it make sense. But this is Brendan Schaub talking about the entire thing and why he thinks UFC 279 was a conspiracy and it was all a concerted effort by UFC to get more tickets and pay-per-views for their event. Which I also don't see why that's a bad thing. But anyway, let's continue.
Is remember this all started off with the weigh-ins, and Dana gets on the mic and goes, for the first time ever, we're gonna have to cancel weigh-in. It's mayhem. They didn't have the security. It was chaos back there. No doubt, chaos. That makes sense. Yeah. Well, also, what'd you expect when you have guys like Nate Diaz, Tony Ferguson, Hamzat, Kevin Holland, Daniel Rodriguez? Like you're dealing with some wild boys, man. You lined up. This should be UFC 279 fucking bad boys. Like you line up the dudes who give no F's given, man. And you guys, everybody knows this. You know these guys can mouth off. You know Hamzat and Holland have an issue with each other. You know Nate Diaz has an issue with everybody. You look at him wrong, he's gonna fight you. If you were hired for Showtime to, promote Conor McGregor and it's a paid gig, he's not gonna enjoy that. He's gonna try and fight you, even though you're in Gucci boots and tight jeans. Okay, that's Nate Diaz, bro. So. You know what you're.
He's still pissy about that Nate Diaz interaction. How long ago did that happen? That was many, many years ago, right? Conor McGregor versus fucking Floyd Mayweather. And he's still butthurt about Nate Diaz giving him the finger. Nate Diaz gives everyone the finger. It's not that big of a deal. He said, go fuck yourself, suck my dick, whatever he said. Like, who gives a shit, man? Like, God damn it, man. This guy thinks like everybody has to like him. It's a very, very bizarre way to kind of operate and navigate the world. I'm glad I'm not like that. Like, so what? He doesn't like you. And just keep it moving.
You're dealing with is the point here. So those weigh-ins, which I've been in a significant amount of them, over, 15 of them probably, in big events, especially pay-per-views.
Well, humble brag.
You got to realize there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 times 2 is 26. So you have 26 professional fighters on this pay-per-view card. Each one of those 26 fighters has a team. So you got to realize they're all in the back there sitting because it's roped off, right? So the fans can't see the back there of all the fighters, and most of them, especially there's only a few heavyweights on this card. I think one heavyweight fight was on this card, right? Yeah, I think so. So you have, your one heavyweight fight, but for the most part, everybody back there's just barely getting by. They're low energy, cranky, freaking no nutrients, depleted of water. They just want to get on the scale and get out of there, right? But you gotta remember, those 26 fighters have their camp comes with them to these weigh-ins. So 26, let's say being friendly, and there's way more guys like this. Let's say I have those 26 guys, each person gets 3 cornermen. So 26 guys, 26 times 3 is what?
I'm going to do it right now because I cannot do math. 78, yeah.
78. So and this is just being conservative. You have 78 people back there. Fight teams, coach.
You know what's funny? This is the most articulate I've ever heard Brendan be in his entire, flipping podcasting career, when he has to flipping expound upon a conspiracy theory that he's made up in his head in an effort to get himself more, in an effort to get himself more attention online or something. This is legitimately the most articulate I've ever heard him be. He's actually pronouncing his words, he's enunciating properly. He's not making up weird phrases. He's actually he's basically explaining and laying out what his conspiracy theory is in a pretty reasonable way. It's absolutely quite impressive. It's obviously still redacted and dumb as hell, but he actually does sound like a normal human being.
Coaches, nutritionists, and then you have the fighters. There's not much to do back there. And this is even when I fought. And this was before cell phones or, people were addicted to them like they are now. There's nothing to do. Everybody's on their phone. Every single person in the back of that weigh-in has their phone. Okay, cool. So you have, how many, Jay? 70-some people?
78.
78 people with their phones. Let's just be conservative and say freaking 50 of them have their phones out, which would be insane this day and age in the cell phone age we live in. So 50 people have their phones out. It was mayhem. It was crazy. People's heads were flying off. Freaking Hamzat, freaking Spartan kicked Kevin Holland. Nate Diaz got involved. And then freaking Daniel Rodriguez. And then Tony was upset and Nate was throwing things. And oh my God, we didn't have enough security. Right. Where's the footage? Nobody. No.
Hold on. Scrap everything I said in the beginning. So the basis of his conspiracy theory, or the origin of it, the seed that started all this, is because there's a lack of footage from the backstage of all the drama that happened with Kevin Holland and Hamzat Chimaev. That's the genesis of his flipping skepticism as to why they had to move the fight card around. Is he for real? Off the top of my head, I could think of many reasons why people wouldn't, number one, record, or number two, share the video. You don't want to get in Dana White's bad graces. It's pretty simple. It's a UFC event. Something crazy happens. No one wants to be the person responsible for sharing that video around and putting it out there because it makes the UFC look bad. And if it makes the UFC look bad, you're going to get punished by it. And if we know one thing for sure, Dana White is a flipping petty motherfucker. He holds grudges. So if he sees you and you put that video clip out and it goes viral and it gets the attention of flipping all these mainstream outlets and they start talking about how dangerous UFC is and how it's full of thugs and it makes him look bad and he has to go on flipping CNN and defend himself, he's going to make your life hell. He's going to whatever he's going to do, right? You know how Dana White moves. So it's no surprise that nobody in there that's got a brain would want to share that video, number one, if they have it, or even take the video because they're probably worried about protecting themselves. Well, I don't understand why this is such a mystery to him. There's no video. It's a UFC event. Why would there be a flipping video? Like, what? Dana White was there, wasn't he? Come on, man.
Nobody got anything? And then the build up to it, they show you this clip to show us the mayhem. Did Did you see the clip they posted? That's not mayhem. Maybe my definition of mayhem is a little different than the UFC, but you're going to cancel a weighing of a huge pay-per-view over that? It can't be the clip you showed me. There has to be more clips out there, right? Show me one clip. Go. Jim, bring it up. You can't.
I just saw a picture.
Yeah,
like
sure.
this.
Yeah.
That was it.
Mayhem, though.
I know.
Now,
Chin, don't agree with him. Chin, don't get sucked into Brendan Schaub's vortex of nonsense. This is insane. Brendan should even know. I bet there was plenty of things that Brendan saw during his time when he was in the UFC that he never spoke about because he didn't want to be put into flipping Dana White's bad graces. It makes complete sense. Why would you want to do that? Like, and if anything, wouldn't a fight outside of the octagon involving, flipping trained fighters be some sort of criminal offense anyway? Why would you want to share that footage? Like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Why is this so, mysterious and doesn't make any sense? I don't get it.
think about when DC, granted this was open to the public, think about when DC and John Jones fought. Remember that? And the little dude's in the middle and he's trying to stop and fucking terrified and they're fighting. How many clips do you see from the fans there?
Is he talking about the thing that happened at the weigh-ins? Oh no, at the press conference in front of the cameras. Is that what he's talking about? He's comparing that to something that happened behind the stage that no one else could see unless you were there behind, like backstage, basically. Is that what he's talking about? Or am I mistaken? He's talking about the times when DC and John Jones fought, and every time at the press conference, some sort of kerfuffle happened. I think the one where maybe John Jones pushed DC or kicked him, something happened, right? And they all started doing some argy-bargy. That happened on the press conference. Like, they were sitting on the table, shouting, whatever, screaming at each other, saying nonsense, throwing insults around. Then they got physical. But the cameras were rolling already. We flipping saw it. We weren't backstage. Honestly, am I going nuts? Or does this make complete sense why no one would have flipping shared it? Maybe I am. I don't know. But hey, let's continue.
Unreal. Thousands. You're telling me not one person got any footage? Nothing?
I like how he thinks he's being super smart with this as well. This is his big brain moment. Isn't it? This is like his triple-digit IQ moment. He legitimately thinks he uncovered it. Like, ha ha! I got you. It's like, what?
Zero? Zilch? Just that one post to build up the pay-per-view that they aired on Saturday morning? That's it? I'm not buying it. Now, do I think Hamzat and Kevin... Here's the other thing. Those 26 fighters, it's like the JFK thing where Callen, he wants to... his argument for every conspiracy is, you think all those people are in on it? I'm like, no, all those people aren't in on it. The main people who make decisions are in on it, 100%. Do I think Hamzat knew he was going to fight Kevin Holland? Yes. Do I think Nate Diaz and Tony Ferguson might have had an idea? Yes. Outside of those four gentlemen, the four big boys that made the card.
Oh my God, this guy's so redacted. Oh my days. I can't believe that the genesis of this entire conspiracy theory for him, the entire thing, was because there was no videos from the fucking scuffle that happened behind the scenes. That's the reason why he's doubting the whole entire thing. Are you insane? That you can't maybe figure out and think with your own head critically why maybe people who are still on the UFC's roster, still not employed, but still work for the UFC, still part of that whole entire organization and whatnot, why they'll be hesitant to maybe release that footage. Come on, man. What is going on here? Jesus Christ, these people are honestly insane. Anyway, what can you do? Oh, we got a little super chat here I can see. Big up Colin Leach. Big up you. $4.99 super chat. Pull that up chin. Or pull that up clean. But yeah, let's go. And someone said earlier on as well how much Adderall I'm on. Let's go. Oh, it's going to play now? There you go.
Pull that up, clean.
Nice. Someone asked earlier on today how much Adderall I'm on. I'm not on any Adderall, mate. You know what I'm on? I'm on pure cold brews. I've had about 4. So that's probably why I'm bouncing off the walls right now. I've had 4 cold brews. So big up me. My caffeine intake is high. I'm sweating. Woo! And we're doing this thing today. So let's roll. Anyway, So after all that stuff, obviously that conspiracy theory is Brendan putting it on wax, and then I guess Dana White had to respond to it because it's so redacted. He was getting asked many questions about it. He just had enough. I have to get this out of the way. And Dana White, Uncle Dana, sat down and answered the question that everybody wanted answering. And here's what the big, red, bald man had to say about the entire thing. Let me get it up on here. Hopefully it's going to load. There it is. It loaded properly. Get the volume up. Switch the scene. All handmade here. Let's go.
I heard this thing today, and again, I don't know how true it is or whatever, that like Pat Miletich was saying that this thing was, we told Hamzat not to make weight because we weren't selling tickets and we weren't, the fucking show was sold out going into that day of the weigh-ins. I don't know if Pat really said that, but if he did, he has to be the dumbest motherfucker on the planet. I mean, you know how fucking stupid you have to be to even think something like that, let alone say it publicly and act like you're fucking serious. Something else. If Pat really said that, it's fucking, holy shit. We might have to send him out to the fucking clinic here, the brain clinic, get him fucking checked out. Done with me?
I believe that was Brendan Schaub who said that.
It was what?
Brendan Schaub who made up that conspiracy.
Oh, it wasn't Pat Miletich?
I think so.
Well, I apologize to Pat Miletich then. That makes sense.
Mic drop! Uncle Dana. Bruv, we all hate Uncle Dana. He runs the UFC like, the way he treats fighters is flipping terrible. Fighter pace terrible. You know, the lack of flipping healthcare, medical care, all that stuff we know is absolutely garbage, right? The fact that they're flipping contractors and they're not flipping employed and all that sort of jazz, horrible. They're anti-union. But when it comes to him dunking on Brendan, everyone seems to be able to lap around it and have a good laugh. But let me play another video because the sound's a bit better in here. It's a bit louder so we can actually hear what he said because it's a little bit low. I'm going to play another video here that the sound's a bit higher. So
I heard
hopefully
this
you can
thing
hear
today,
this.
and again, I don't know.
It's playing.
How true.
Stop. So it's another video here that obviously going to play, and hopefully this will be a little bit louder so you can hear it and we can go through it one more time.
I heard this thing today, and again, I don't know how true it is or whatever, that like Pat Miletich was saying that this thing was, we told Hamzat not to make weight because we weren't selling tickets and we weren't, the fucking show was sold out going into that day of the weigh-ins. I don't know if Pat really said that, but if he did, he has to be the dumbest motherfucker on the planet. I mean, you know how fucking stupid you have to be to even think something like that, let alone say it publicly and act like you're fucking serious. We're regulated by the Athletic Commission. And if you think that we told Hamzat Chimaev to not make weight, then Hamzat shows up and the fans are all pissed off at him and stuff, and he's going to just, I mean, and knowing, if you know anything about the sport, this is a guy that was actually in the sport, training and fighting and everything else. If Pat really said that, it's fucking, holy shit. We might have to send him out to the fucking clinic here, the brain clinic.
You know what's funny about this, right? That I think is funny about this? I have a feeling Dana White knew it was Brendan all along, but he was using Pat Miletich as a setup for the question at the end because he kept repeating Pat's name all the time. If Pat really said that, he has to be the dumbest motherfucker, the most stupid. Who? And then the bit about, he was actually in the sport. He actually fought in the UFC. He knows what it's like. He knows the business behind the scenes. He knows what I'm like. He's interactive with me. He doesn't, you know what I mean, all that sort of stuff. Like, he set it up in a way where if somebody did say, no, actually it wasn't Pat, it was Brendan, he had the perfect chance to do the mic drop moment. I honestly think my gut feeling is that Dana White knew Brendan Schaub said it, but didn't want to say Brendan Schaub's name because, you know, he probably thinks he's a flipping shit on his shoe after the whole back and forth they had before. He probably still hates him to his core. So he doesn't even have the strength to say his name. That's how much he hates him. So he's using Pat's name as a way to kind of attack Brendan. That's my theory. Could be wrong, could be right. Who cares?
Get him fucking checked out. All right, buddy. Done with me?
I believe that was Brendan Schaub who said that.
It was what?
Brendan Schaub who made up that conspiracy.
Oh, it wasn't Pat Miletich?
I think so.
Well, I apologize to Pat Miletich then. That makes sense. Bye.
Epic mic drop from Uncle Dana, who we all hate, but then when he goes around and starts kicking Brendan, somehow the whole internet flipping gets around and kind of, starts to be his friend again. It's absolutely insane to see it. Anyway, off the back of that, of course, Mr. B. Schaub had to reply. He had to make it known that he was the comedian, that he was going to have the epic burn. And the funny thing about it is that when they first went back and forth, what was it about? It was what did they argue about beforehand? I don't know what the argument was about. What did it start? Does people remember the first argument? But regardless of how it started, Brendan did probably win that one. Let's be fair to him. Brendan did dunk on Dana really well when he suggested that he was that they were flipping Eskimo brothers, which was a real low blow, because I'm pretty sure Dana's married. Do you know what I mean? So that obviously kind of burned him really well. And he put that line in there about Dana would be teaching kickboxing at some gym or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was a really good burn. Brendan got him really good. But this reply or this response from Brendan to Dana was so weak. So bad, so bad. It probably did more damage than good. I swear on my life it did more damage than good. So this is Brendan Schaub taking an article, I guess, from one of the MMA news sites where they basically, quoted Dana White and what he said about the conspiracy theory about UFC 279. He said, fucking stupid. Takes a shot at Brendan Schaub. Brendan replies as follows, right? This is Brendan's reply to get back to what. And again, Dana didn't say much. He just said, that makes sense, right? That's like a good burn. We don't have to use that many words. But this is Brendan's attempt to get back at Dana. Oh God, here we go again. I've been nothing but cool and thought you'd learn from the last time you mentioned my name and got destroyed. Unfortunately, not surprised you're a bully. Not surprised, you'd be surprised. I get it. Good callback. Always have been. You put on a pair of designer jeans and some hip sneakers and think you're cool. Excuse me, are you describing yourself? Are you talking to a mirror? What's the deal with this? Why would this be the first thing you run to when you're insulting Dana White? Has anybody thought of Dana White to be like hip and trendy? Does anybody look at Dana White to be some sort of trend icon? No. He wears like tonal t-shirts, regular jeans, and expensive trainers. That's it. If anything, Brendan probably looks more like the person that wears designer jeans and hip sneakers than Dana White. Dana White just looks like every other Chad LA guy that's got money, right? Drives a nice car. They just wear pretty normcore clothes, have some loud trainers on, maybe a big flipping Audemars watch or something, and that's it. Brendan fucking peacocks all over. He's got the hat, he's got the haircut, he's got the glasses he stole from his wife, he's got the skinny jeans with the elastic at the bottom, the crazy sneakers, the ankle socks. Like, he absolutely peacocks all the way, every single place. So to accuse Dana White of being that is really weird. It continues. You're still a dork with a frat bro vocabulary. Honestly, Brendan is roasting himself. Brendan is roasting himself really well. You're a bro with a frat bro vocabulary. Amazing. I can't say vocabulary. The irony on that is not lost on me. Continues. Calling me and numerous people dummy and dumbass, fucking idiot, because we have questions about the chaos at the UFC 279. Nah, you can't insult Dana White, go back at him, and then try and get other people involved. No, but you're calling me and everybody else a dumbass. No. Just war him on your own. Don't get other people involved. Anyway, continue. Also, no one is talking about gate tickets. I was referring to, why is he putting in asterisks and not quotation marks? Anyway, no one's talking about asterisk gate tickets. I was referring to pay-per-view buys and how the UFC 279 was trending. What does he know about? Anyway, this is all weird, which you don't release to the public. So how do you know about this then if you don't release to the... I love Brendan's logic. I'm going to question the pay-per-views and the trending, even though I don't got the information. Makes sense. But we'll say it went fucking great, bros. Sorry, we just don't buy what you're telling us after lying numerous times, but the sheep media you pick to attend events don't have the balls to call you out on it. Come on, man. That's unfair. They call him out all the time. He just doesn't give a fuck. The UFC doesn't give a fuck either. And if you keep asking, of course they'll ban you. But they get called out about fighter pay all the time. They get called out about the matchups. They get called out about the rankings, the lack of healthcare. But they don't care. That's what makes Dana White an arsehole. He gets. There's plenty of footage of Dana White getting grilled about fighter pay, about some fighters said, oh, they were overdrawn on their bank account, and he just doesn't give a fuck. So people just stop asking after a while because you're going to be wasting your questions, innit? Like, what is he talking about? And if anything, what has he done on his platform to really ask the hard questions? Zero. He was just there, you know, the other day about to flipping eat Laura Sanko's face if it was a fucking cheeseburger. What do you ask? Come on, what questions are you really asking? Jesus Christ. And also, this is weird. I felt like just the other day, Brendan was going out of his way to be like friends with Dana White again. He was complimenting him all the time, bigging him up, going out of his way to really be complimentary. And all of a sudden, he wants to go back to the Brendan of Fox era. He has to decide, like, pick a lane. Do you want to be Dana White's friend? Because he's rich and famous now, because that's what I think it was. Like, now that, you know, they sold to the ESPN, they got loads of money, Dana White's clearly not going anywhere anytime soon, the profile of the UFC's only got bigger and bigger, his kind of relationship with the UFC and relevance to it is sort of fading. You have to be a real kind of head to know even Brendan was involved and his whole history behind it. So maybe he's trying to get back in the good graces and also position himself next to the UFC. Or, another theory, didn't Brendan say recently that he wants meant to sign up with One Championship to be some sort of media figure for them? Maybe this is a way to kind of disparage the UFC and also shine light on maybe the One Championship thing that he's about to do. Who knows? Either way, redacted response, weird response. So far, the only line that I like of it that I thought was really good, maybe the opening line. Oh God, here we go again. That's pretty decent. But the rest of it is nonsense. Let's continue. Just in the recent press conference, you were caught lying about the extra compensation to fighters. You need a reality check. This is not news. Dana White lies. We know this. He lies all the time. How is this a burn? Okay, continue. You're surrounded by yes men. Aren't you too? Look around you, mate. Isn't BGL a flipping yes man? Isn't Chin a yes man? Isn't Bryan Callen a fucking yes man? The biggest one of all. Come on, man. Yes man. If anything, everybody he's fired is probably could be a no man, right? You'd imagine. Maybe not Chappelle, because he didn't get fired. I think he left. But Malik was someone that would push back. He got gadooshed. I forgot who the other guy is. The guy he was co-hosting the show with for a bit during the pandemic. He was somebody also that I thought would maybe push back behind the scene. He got gadooshed. Come on, man. Let's be real. Anyway, continue. You're not special. You're not original. That also could be applied to you, my friend. You're a low-budget Vince McMahon. That's a good line, actually. That might be the best line of the whole thing. Out of all this paragraph, the best line is you're a low-budget Vince McMahon. Every move you make is a copycat of that dude. Only thing you have in common is you're both on steroids and dressed like assholes. Come on with the dressing stuff. Yo, what does Dana White wear? Can we see Dana White outfits? Let me just type that in. Dana White outfits. Because I'm bemused why he keeps going after fucking his dress sense. I don't understand this. When Brendan dresses like a fucking adult hype beast. I don't get this stuff. Come on, look at this. It's all normal dad wear. Dana White, jeans, t-shirt, jeans, t-shirt, jeans, t-shirt, jeans, t-shirt, long sleeve, jeans, hoodie, t-shirt, 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 jeans, t-shirt. Like, what? This is the outfits he's going after. Like, regular, I'm into MMA, I lift weights, guy, Chad bro wear. Like, it's standard. Then you go and do this, and you do Brendan Schaub outfits, right? Let's see this. Look at the first picture. Look at the first picture that comes up when you type in Brendan Schaub outfits. Look at the first picture that fucking comes up. It's obviously not him, but come on, man. Come on. Come on. Like, look at all that. That's the first outfit you get, right? That legendary picture of that dude from New York wearing fucking, thigh-high Timberland boots, right? Then you got him sitting down with, what's his face? I forgot his name. Deontay Wilder, right? Wearing jeans, loafers with no socks. Then you got him wearing a sweatshirt a sleeveless a short sleeve sweatshirt, not even a sleeveless one, short sleeve. So you have to go to a shop and ask them, hey, do you have a hoodie, but it's short sleeve, right? Weird outfit. Wearing a bomber jacket, wearing an Everlast tee, dressed as fucking Woody with his little pee hanging out there, you know, twinning with Chappelle. Like these are way more fruity outfits than anything you. And then again, these are not fruity; these are just regular adult hypebeast wear. And look at that, the fucking iconic picture of all. This man left his house with a Gucci side bag and a fucking fedora on an electric bike to go to do comedy fucking sets. This guy's into fashion allegedly. He's into fashion where you wear fucking side bags and a hat. Oh, let's continue. Oh, look, it's going backwards. I don't understand this infatuation that he's got with Dana White's outfits when his are way more fruity than anything Dana White's ever worn. Like, I don't understand this stuff. Like, look at this stuff. All of this. What is this? What is this world? Come on, man. Come on, look. Camel toe. Come on. What is this world we live in? Anyway, let's continue. Need I remind you, your origin story is a failed cardio kickboxing instructor who had two rich friends in high school who funded his business. Can't the same be said for you, Brendan? Come on, don't shoot yourself in the foot like this. People have suggested the only reason why you're successful is because of Bryan Callen and Joe Rogan. Right? Maybe more so Joe Rogan, but Bryan Callen did play a big role. If those two guys weren't in your life, where would you be, Brendan Schaub? Come on, you can't be doing this. You're giving people ammo to attack you too easily. That is something that could easily be fucking, turned back and flipping thrown back at you. Come on, dude, you gotta do better. That's a terrible way to come back at somebody. Now, anyway, it continues. Now go make a quote unquote cool video with the Nelt Boys to stay relevant. Oh my days, you can't say that. You were just on Logan Paul. You were trying to be best friends with Logan Paul and he clearly did not give a fuck about you. That was honestly one of the most embarrassing interviews I've seen in my life. I felt bad for Brendan. I was really cringing for him. I was hurting. My soul was crying seeing Brendan have to suck up to these kids. They were kids. I think with the exception of that one dude, they're all under the age of 30 years old, I'm assuming. Multi-millionaires, really successful, but essentially in LA terms, they're kids because most of them don't have children anyway. They don't have, serious significant others, I don't think. Maybe, I'm not too sure. But, they get to run around LA, smashing Instagram influencers, driving fast cars, so they behave like kids. So they just like living their life. And here's Brendan having to grovel to these guys to try to get them to take him seriously and to give his, help him promote his special. Come on, man. Logan Paul was looking at him like he was a absolute wallad and a waste, man. I felt so bad for the guy, man. I really did. So you can't be saying he's trying to be relevant why did you go on the fucking Logan Paul? Why did you go on impulsive? Come on, man. And if anything, to be completely honest, let's be fair, as much as I dislike Dana White's business in terms of the UFC, his association with Nelk, his association with Barstool has probably made him a lot more likable than he was before. Because they don't get involved in the drama and all the, negative stuff about him and whatnot. They try to kind of, interview him just as a kind of a dude. And he comes across pretty reasonable. He's able to banter, have a good time, have some charisma about him. He actually comes across way better on their shows. And, we have to say, with the exception of what appearance did Brendan Schaub do for his special that was good? I can't think of one of the tours that he did. Maybe when he went on, Andrew Schultz's one. Maybe that was a good one. I'm not too sure. But I can't think of many on his whole promo tour for his special where you'd say, okay, cool, he came across really well there. They were all really bad. No, the only one he did well, I think, was the one he did with the guys from the show called Are You Garbage? That was a good one. I think he came across pretty decent on that one. But come on, man. Oh, let's continue anyway. Or have your PR team come up with a good press story to distract the fans away from the fighter pay and how you have to wear those awful Under Armour rock shoes and won't see a dime. Okay, that's a good thing, but again, you have to put that at the beginning. That's too far down. Quote-unquote dummy. P.S. Quit stealing my shows on Fig Boy Network and recreating it on Fight Pass, okay? Oh my days. Oh my days. Is Brendan Schaub saying Dana White's what's it called again? It's like a food, it's like a cheat show. What is it called? Dana White food. Let's see if I can find it here. What's it called? It's called something. That's it. Fuck It Fridays. He's trying to say that the UFC copied Fuck It Fridays from what? Food Truck Diaries. What? It's food. Everybody eats. And all these shows, there's no original one under the sun, mate. None. Even Food Truck Diaries. I'm sure there's a show out there that interviews people via the fucking proxy or via the template or via the fucking whatever it may be called, platform of a fucking food truck. I'm sure they all existed before the Brendan show came around. Maybe he made it more popular, but that concept definitely existed. Food shows are 10 a penny, mate. They're all over the world. Imagine all the food shows that exist all around the world in all the different countries. Right, someone making like a dinner dives and drives in, or sorry, diner drive-ins and dives, whatever it's called, but they made it in fucking Croatia. There's many of them that exist. Like, what the hell is this? This is unless it's another show that I'm missing out on. But if he thinks this, and again, this one, let's be fair to Dana White also. This show, Fuck It Fridays, probably has a lot more kind of meat to it because it looks like by all impressions that Dana White works out a bunch and does a lot of roids, right? But he works out a bunch. So I'd imagine his diet is probably quite in check Monday to Friday or whenever, right? You know, on a 7-day basis, he probably keeps his diet quite tight. And when he says Fuck It Friday, he means it. Like, I'm actually going to eat stuff that I don't ever eat because my diet's usually quite solid. So it must be way more fun to watch him gorge on this terrible food whilst talking about UFC shit than it must be watching Brendan eat the 17th burger he's eaten in that fucking week. This is way more compelling. Even though I would never watch it, I would understand why this is more successful. But this idea that they took this from Thick Boy Studios is like, excuse me? Excuse me? Like, what? Come on, bruv. You don't even have that many shows on your network. What do you have? Is a Fire the Kid part of Thick Boy? I don't know. What do they have on there? Is it King of the Sting? Cats After Dark? Food Truck Diaries, Schaub Show, but they're not really like concepts. They're just podcasts. Like, I don't know. I don't get this stuff. Fucking bizarre way to go about it. But again, you know, that's B Schaub for you, innit? So, in my opinion, that was maybe one of the worst replies and comebacks I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, I have to say, one of the worst. One of the worst. One of the worst. Has to be one of the worst. Dana won that by a fucking landslide, and he didn't have to even say too many words. He just said, that makes sense. That matches up. Oh, yeah, noted. Okay, cool. Oh, really? Ha ha ha. Whatever he said. And then he just dropped the mic. That's it. He didn't even drop the mic. He placed the mic back down on the table. He owns the microphone. He could have dashed it over the back of his head. He could have flipping stuffed it down his trousers, flipping Paulo Costa style. No, he just placed it on the table. That was enough. I'm done. What more can I say? And here's Dana, here's fucking Brendan writing fucking essays. Who wants to bet? Who wants to bet that Brendan sent that fucking caption to BGL to proofread? That caption had hints of BGL. Because you know BGL likes to fucking go in his fucking coke-fueled reply fucking essay stuff that he does to people, which I never understand. He's fucking there trying to sound like a pseudo-intellectual, right? I think that has some sprinkling, some cocaine sprinklings of BGL giving it the once over. It was way too wordy. It rambled. It went here. It went there. There was a couple of good lines here, but it wasn't framed well. It was just terrible. Whereas Brendan's first one that he did, where he attacked Dana and whatever, that whole what's it called? That whole Eskimo Brothers rant. That was very well kind of laid out. Good opening, good middle, and a smashing end. This one felt a little bit haphazard, a little bit all over the place. But yeah, in general though, to be fair, I have to be honest, I think we all got played. I think we all got played. Every single one of us got played. Because I think my conspiracy theory is Brendan latched onto this conspiracy theory in an effort to promote his stuff, his whole Thick Boy empire. Because, you know, if you look at some things on the Fire and the Kids subreddit, subscriber counts, view counts, there's a theory out there that the numbers are now starting to plateau. It's starting to, he's starting to feel the effects of all this sort of bad reputation he has online and whatnot. And he's obviously not gaining any new fans, or a lot of new fans, as you probably should, considering his profile and, his friends and whatnot. He's not really gaining as many new fans as he probably should. And he's now starting to feel the effects of it, which is why he's now starting to become a little bit more social media open, willing to do like the thumbnails. He's got a channel that he's doing now. And he's just getting involved in a lot of the drama that he probably wouldn't have done before, leaning into the jokes online a little bit, taking a piss out of himself to an extent. I think this was all part of the plan. He wanted to jump on that conspiracy theory. He wanted to echo those thoughts. So whoever had said it, Pat Miletich or whoever did say it, because he knew Dana White doesn't like him anyway, he knew Dana would bite, and then they have this back and forth. That's my theory. I think this is all a ploy, and we've all played into it. Yeah, someone says here, what's that? Conspiraception. Definitely conspiraception. This is a conspiracy within a conspiracy within a conspiracy within a conspiracy. It just keeps going on and on and on. It's a universe collapsing onto itself, my friend. Honestly, Elon Musk shit. I swear to God, this is what it is. So I think we all lost. I lost brain cells. I got a bit hyped. I put a bit of a sweat on. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I provide some entertainment for you guys. But I think in general, we all got played like an absolute fiddle. Because I think this is all part of a ploy to essentially get himself back in the headlines. And guess what? It fucking worked. It worked, mate. It absolutely worked. We know it did. It bloody worked. But yeah, let's continue. And let's play one more clip here. Let's do a couple more before I bounce, because I said I already bounced in an hour, right? Oh, so did I tell you, or I'd mentioned it before, right? I think most of you know. Bryan Callen was on Legion of Skanks. Really strange, very odd. I think personally for me, he's only on there because his career's in tatters, and he only has stand-up to kind of rely on in terms of, some sort of semblance of a entertainment career because of all that stuff that happened with the R-word allegation. So now I guess he's trying to maybe reintegrate himself back into the comedy community, even though for the most part he was existing in his own little LA bubble, surrounded by Brendan and Joe Rogan and being elite and being high up there, feeling they don't need to go and talk to the lowly ones on the West Coast, or sorry, on the East Coast. But now everything's kind of imploded. He's suddenly now going to try to be these guys' friends on the East Coast and pretend like he's a comedian when really he wants to be an actor. I understand that, but then his career's in tatters, so clearly he has to do what he has to do to keep the lights on. So he went on Legion of Skanks, spoke a little bit about Brendan, and then this is a clip where he's arguing that he's more responsible for Brendan's career than Joe Rogan is. I don't know why this is an argument. I don't know why this makes any sort of sense to even argue about, but it's just a 15-second clip, so I'm sure I'm taking it out of context. But this is, anyway, Bryan Callen on Legion of Skanks clip.
And then his dream was always to be a fucking comic. And I'm the guy that made him do that. I'm the guy
You
that pushed him.
stupid asshole.
Get
him!
Can you hear that? Let me repeat that because
his dream was always to be a fucking comic. And then his dream was always to be a fucking comic. And I'm the guy that made him do that. I'm the guy that pushed him.
That's a lie, by the way. That's a bona fide lie. Bona fide lie. Bona fide lie. The thing about these guys that I don't understand is that, don't they realize that they have recorded themselves speaking for like 10 plus years? Don't they realize that people like myself are like, I'm a former fan. I used to be a fan of the Fighting Kid until, Brendan started to develop whatever ego that he has and, changed as a person, and I kind of jumped off of it. But I was a fan from day dot. I remember when they used to talk about the origin story about Brendan starting comedy, and the reason why he got into stand-up comedy was because all the other options that he did prior didn't really work out. He initially, when he got into sports, wanted to be a professional football player. That was always his dream, because obviously he was a big lad. I think he's got a family member that played, to a certain level of standard in American football out there. Again, I don't know what level as well, but I remember him speaking about it. I remember him saying his dad was pushing him to do it also. He was playing it since he was young, blah, 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 blah. He had friends that became pro. That was always a dream. And given his size and what he looks like, it would make sense why he would think he'd be good at it. But then, of course, when he started to pursue that dream, quickly he realized that he wasn't good at it. He kept getting these signals that maybe it wasn't going to work out. Then that's when he segued into doing the UFC, because he was quite athletic. And at that time, the UFC standard wasn't that great in terms of skill set. And if you had a little bit of an athletic base on you and you had a decent size, you could make some moves, right? And he ended up going there. Didn't work out for him. And then, of course, because that didn't work out, which I think was I think it was like good timing. The Reebok deal happens. He falls out with Dana and UFC, all that sort of stuff. He can't have his own sponsor. 'Cause I think he mentioned before, like he used to get like a free figure sum from sponsors, right? Like you used to come in for the UFC. You'd have I think before you were allowed to have like a poster that they used to hang in the octagon, right, with all your flipping sponsors on it as you were kind of warming up when Bruce was interviewing you. Then you were also allowed to have flipping patches on your shorts, so you could sell those patches to flipping sponsors and get crazy amounts of money. But obviously the UFC fucking pulled the rug on that one, which meant a lot of fighters had to rely only on what the UFC was paying them in terms of getting a sort of salary. So it makes sense. Around that time, Brennan was like, you know what, I can't do this. Maybe he's starting a family. I don't know. So then he jumps off of that one. About the same sort of time, again, serendipity, the podcast is also starting to blow up. So he's getting an argument with the UFC. He's arguing with Dana White. The Reebok deal is fucking horrible. And then your podcast is blowing. And you're starting to see that the money from your podcast is starting to match what you were getting from UFC. So obviously you start doing a podcast. Double down on that because it's working for you. Then you start to talk to Bryan Callen, like, what are you doing on the weekends? Oh, I'm going to go perform a show. I'm doing stand-up. How much you get for that? Oh, it's this amount of money. Only a dummy wouldn't want to try it out. Why not? If your friend's getting paid 10 grand to tell dick jokes on stage, you think it looks easy, so you jump on and you do it. And because you're performing in front of your own fans, they're laughing. Then you suddenly think you're Dave Chappelle, and then boom, you get given a special, and you take it so quickly because you think you're Dave Chappelle for real. And then obviously it goes terrible, but in your head it goes great. That was how the story ran. It wasn't that he always started from being a kid at home and he wanted to be a stand-up comedian. That wasn't the truth. And again, that story, what I said, isn't a bad story. Wanting what he did, going from NFL to the UFC to podcasting to stand-up, that is still a pretty amazing journey. That is the antithesis of what's his face would call a hero's journey. That was it. Loads of setbacks, loads of struggles, but you kept persevering, you kept pushing that rock up the hill, and look where you are now. It's still a good story, but for some reason now, he wants to retcon it and rewrite the narrative and make it seem like he was always a stand-up fan. He was watching George Carlton at home with his brother, giggling and laughing at all the stuff. And come on, you weren't, bruv. Let's be real, you weren't. He probably watched what's its face, Eddie Murphy's special, when really late in life. I don't think he watched it when it came out, even though he's older and he probably should have watched it at that time if he was a real stand-up fan. It doesn't make any sense. So this whole rewriting of the narrative of the origin story is bizarre. I don't get it. Why would you say it? I guess, I don't know. Who knows?
Stupid asshole. Get him!
Wait. Well, people say like Rogan fast track him. Get the fuck out of here.
That Brian Chad thing he does too, where he's trying to be a bro and hang out with people. Look, he's drinking a pint of beer and trying to be one of the lads. Cringe.
Fast track him. Get the fuck out of here.
All right, yeah. Lad Callen, innit? Cringe, Lad Callen. But anyway, Bryan Callen's arguing with people on podcasts about who's responsible for Bryan Schaub's career. I don't know why you'd want to take credit for something like that. But again, sometimes you have to, whatever credits you can get, you have to get. This is another one I want to play here where I think, what's his name? Louis J. Gomez speaks about the Trug Walk situation. Also, Louis J. Gomez, why the J? Why not just say Louis Gomez? Or is there another comedian out there that's got a name Louis Gomez? That Louis J. Gomez is so annoying in terms of saying it. It's just so pretentious and unnecessary. Get rid of that J, brother, please. You're a funny guy, but get rid of the J. Anyway, here is Louis J. Gomez talking to Bryan Callen about why he thinks maybe Brendan Schaub taking that special was bad for him, but he also understands why he took it, and then whatever. Let's continue.
And they put out a special. He did it like 2-3 years in. Nobody's gonna have a good fucking comedy special at 2-3 years in. It's a fact. Nobody here, if we would have put out a special at 2 or 3 years in, would have put out something good. He shouldn't have done that. You guys, as his friends, failed him.
Yes.
Annie Letterman never.
You see the cognitive dissonance there. They can't wrap their head around the idea of being honest with your friend. If someone's your friend and you know they're going to make a mistake, again, you can't force your friends to do anything. If your friend wants to do something dumb, they're going to do something dumb. I know it because I do dumb things myself all the time, right? And I have no friends. That's probably why I do dumb things. But anyway, if your friend's going to do something dumb, you at least say, hey, this is a dumb move. If they don't listen to you, cool. But as a friend, you're at least going to vocalize it and say, hey, this might be a dumb move. But I guess the LA thing or maybe because Brendan's character, maybe the fact that he's so sensitive and thin-skinned, he just doesn't kind of respond well to that sort of stuff. They all just refuse to say stuff to him and just let him be. But if I'm not mistaken, I remember Brendan mentioning it one time, I think when he was emotional around the whole Kalila thing. I think he admitted actually that Bryan did tell him not to do it, but he didn't listen to Bryan. And guess what Brendan said he listened to Bryan? Brendan said he didn't listen to Bryan in terms of him saying, hey, maybe you shouldn't take that Showtime deal to do your special a year and a half into your stand-up, journey because it's not going to be good. Brendan didn't listen to Bryan Callen at the time because he thought Bryan Callen was hating on him, that he got a special so soon in his career, and at that time, Bryan was sort of maybe struggling or in the plateau in his career. Somebody's meant to be his friend. Somebody's meant to be his mentor, right? He did that fucking Sam Adams beer thing with him about how important he was to his journey, all that sort of gobbledygook. But then when push comes to shove, he thinks in his head that Bryan Callen's jealous of his career. Jealous that he's getting there quicker, even though he's much younger. All this, like, how's that even making any sense? I don't know. But that explains a lot about how that guy thinks, and maybe also explains why some people are maybe hesitant, especially his friends, to say, hey, this is a bad idea.
Never sucked my dick in a truck.
He never.
Oh, that's this one.
Hey, Annie Letterman never sucked my dick in a truck.
He never. Look. That's a whole bullshit thing too. Look, the guy.
So everything people accuse Brendan of is bullshit. There's no one truth in any of them. The Kalila thing was not true either. The Annie Lindemann stuff was not true either. I don't know. I just find that a bit hard to believe, personally, for me. If anything, for me personally, if you had to ask me, push come to shove, I would say there's probably more truth in the Annie Lindemann story than there is in the Kalila story. Because from what I've seen, again, there's probably a little bit too much, weird incel energy around Kalila. I'm not really too sure why people dictate a lot of time around uncovering her truth. She said this, she said that, she winked, she started here. I don't know. Some of Kalila's haters are very strange. I don't know why she even has them. She seems like a pretty ordinary, cool girl to me. I don't understand why they really want to go out their way to prove that she's some sort of whore. I don't understand it, but put that to one side. If you had to ask me to pick what story was what I could really say, and I would kind of bet my life on it that was true, I say Annie Lindeman's story, for sure. Because the way Annie Lindemann spoke about Brendan, how she brought up his name, the disdain in her voice, how she spoke. I've seen women and how they speak about guys that they don't like, and that's what they sound like, especially when they have the bad interaction. So I definitely believe that trug walk thing happened, for sure. Maybe the Kalila stuff is a bit more, there's more layers to it because maybe something happened behind the scenes that we don't know. And I don't know. There's something there. Who knows? Maybe there isn't. But if you had to tell me, Aggie, you have to fucking bet your life on it. Which story is 100% true? For sure, the trug walk. For sure. For flipping sure. 100%. 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. But again, when you're Bryan Callen, that's bullshit. No, that's my boy. He paid my salary. He helps me. It's not true. Come on, get out of here. And to make matters even more irresistible in this whole equation, which is absolutely insane. Insane. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. That comment from Koila. Yo, brilliant comment. I think Brendan tried to bang Annie only because Joe kept talking about how great she was. Yes, you're on point. You're getting it now. You're getting it. See, this is why this whole stuff is really weird and gay and gossipy and a bit redacted and lame, because we analyze things to this level of detail. This is how much losers we are. But there's also some truth to it, because if you remember, back whenever, when Joe discovered Annie or kind of came across her, he was blown away about how funny she was. And he wouldn't sharp about Annie Lindemann. Annie Lindemann became Joe Rogan's new Whitney Cummings, right? That's what she became. In terms of him hyping, like, oh no, she's so funny, she's amazing, she's funny. And obviously, Joe being amazing as he is, he brought on his podcast a bunch of times, and she flipping murdered, and people got to see that she was funny, she had a good story, her sobriety, her comedy, all this fun stuff. And then she just blossomed into being this star that she's now at the moment. So it'll be no surprise to me, especially back then when Brennan was hanging around Joe a lot, that he probably saw Annie there a lot because, I think Joe was having her open some shows, or she was on the lineup when Joe was there, just hanging around, doing the thing, kissing babies, shaking hands, all that good stuff. And he probably saw it and thought, hey, I can get involved in that. And because Annie's got this, she's kind of got that personality of a girl that's clearly hung around loads of boys. Like, she's just at ease around men. She doesn't necessarily get all uptight and whatnot, or all kind of, shy. She can clearly hang, have a bit of banter. She probably does a lot of that kind of touching, a lot funny. And some guys who are flipping thirsty will see a girl laughing at their jokes, rolling their head back, maybe touching them and stuff as a sign that they want to fuck. When it's not. Sometimes girls are just comfortable. They just like you. They think you're their friend. But obviously people like him may think, whoa, trug walk time. Do you know what I mean? So I think he got a little bit excited, and that's when it happened and it transpired. Because I think he probably read into those signs wrong, which is why Annie got so offended, because she was like, no, I was just talking to you because you're fucking Joe Rogan's friend. I don't even like you like that. But then Brenda probably thought, oh, she's touching me. She's laughing at my jokes. She thinks I'm funny. We have this little banter. We pretend we kind of play fight. And he saw that as an invitation for a drug walk. And he heard that and was like, excuse me? And then, because there's nothing worse. Trust me, I've been a guy. I've shot my shot sometimes at somebody who had no idea it was coming. And there's nothing worse than that look on their face. They're like, what? Do you know what I mean? There's nothing worse from a guy. So I think that 100% happened, because that sounds like an embarrassing story that man will get himself involved in. Anyway, moving on. One of the other things that happened in terms of an embarrassing experience for the guy B. Schaub was that he went on his bike ride, on his e-bike, up and down the hills of LA. Why he doesn't have a normal mountain bike, I don't understand. Living in such an amazing place with such great scenery as he has behind him, great landscape, great hills, great trails. Why would you waste all of that to be riding an e-bike? Why not get an absolutely banging mountain bike? Even drive up there if you want, and then just go bomb down the hill and then walk your bike up again. But that'll be so much fun, way more fun than riding an e-bike. Personally, for me, makes absolutely no sense. You might as well just sit on a flipping electric wheelchair or something. It makes no sense why he's doing that. But anyway, he does it as his thing. Cool, enjoy. He rides his e-bike up there, and I guess maybe it's a white thing. I don't know what it is, or maybe it's a rich thing. He just leaves it somewhere and thinks it's going to be there when he comes back. I don't know what that's about. Maybe the trails are really desolate and in the middle of nowhere. Maybe that's it. But if there's people that do hiking and whatnot around there that drive up there too, they might have SUVs, or they might just be walking. Why would you think just leaving it there made sense? They're just going to grab that and put that in the back of their car, or just ride it back home. Anyway, regardless, this is Brendan Schaub explaining his story.
What's up, kids? We out here Tuesday morning. Your boy did his usual bike journey, and then I decided to venture off where the bike can't go. So I just left my bike at the top of the mountain there. I feel like a bad idea. I feel like the biking community, oh, it's a pterodactyl, that's cool. I feel like the biking community is not going to steal my bike, right? If you do come across it, you fellow bikers watching this right now, my service is bad, so what time it's posted, you're not going to see this. But if somebody does stumble upon that yellow Specialized bike, it's not cheap. Didn't pay for it, but still, I care about it.
Weird humble brag, right? I didn't pay for it. It's not cheap, but it's like, yeah, great guy, never met him. That's another version of it, right? What did he say? Let's go back again.
Oh, Specialized bike, it's not cheap. Didn't pay for it, but still, I care about it.
It's not cheap. I didn't pay for it, but still I care about it. Why mention anyway? Such a weird humble brag. But anyway, regardless, who just leaves their bike? Again, can somebody tell me in the chat if this is a thing that people do? Because I know sometimes if you have a real good, what's that thing called? If you have a good trail, maybe not so near where you live, you jump in your car, you take your bike with you. I know I've got many friends that do the same thing. They go on their mountain bikes and, ride through trails and whatnot. They will jump in someone's car or have the bikes all rigged up on the back of the car, blah, 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 blah. But is it a done thing when you're out on the trail to just leave your bike in the middle there and just walk away? Like, why would you do that? Is it because you want to go get some water or something? I don't understand. Why would you just leave it there? It makes no sense. Bizarre thing to do. Is this another marketing ploy? Is this another chance to get virality and stuff? Like, I don't know. Who knows? Very, very strange. Very, very strange. I don't know. Very, very bizarre. But I guess, I guess that's part of the whole charm of the guy, innit? Do as many redacted things as possible, and then hope for the best, and then pray for the worst. You know how the vibes. You know the vibes. Next on here, what else do we have to quickly talk about? So on Legion of Skanks, they played the Sam Adams flipping advert, but I think it got gadoosh from the internet because I can't find it. I can't find a copy of the Sam Adams and advert thing they did with Bryan Schaub and Bryan Callen, right? If someone else can find it for me and they've got a link to it, please get on the fucking Discord and send it to me. I'll be much appreciated. Or contact me via social media, wherever. If you find a copy of it, please let me know. But I was Googling around and I found this other copy on the Fire and the Kid subreddit where they kind of dubbed it and made it, you know, obviously the homeless cat edition. And it's way, way, way better than the original one. But if you guys can find the original, please let me know. I'd love to watch it on stream again. But this is a edited version of the Sam Adams flipping thing. So let's see if you guys enjoy this.
People that are negative or are on forums and are create troll accounts. I view those people the same I'd view a homeless guy critiquing my art or critiquing my set or critiquing.
Who knew that little rant he went on back in the day would form the genesis of the would kind of birth the inception of the homeless cats? They didn't really have a name for themselves. There wasn't really a shared, you know, mission statement. It was just kind of a kind of, you know, a random group of people, right? Some of them fans, some of them not so fans, some of them on the fence, some of them not really sold on the whole idea. And then suddenly that rant comes about where he flipping describes people that don't like what he does as homeless, right? And then despises the homeless by saying that if a homeless person told him anything about his set, he wouldn't listen to him because they're fucking homeless. Was absolutely brilliant, man. Honestly, what an amazing own goal. What an amazing own goal. But still, I think even then you could have turned it around. I think you could have turned it around. If you would have embraced the meme back then, the homeless cat stuff, and made merch on it, and just kind of leaned into it a bit, maybe read some posts on live on air. Oh, another super chat. Yay.
Schaub's turned into Doofy from Scary Movie.
Yeah, true. Big up MJ. Very, very true. Thank you for the £2 super chat, MJ. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. But yeah, let's continue.
In a podcast, they do not matter. It literally does not matter to me. I mean, because someone, the person who would,
you hear Chin in the background trying to help him. Maybe not homeless. He didn't listen. Like, no, homeless. He doubled down. No homeless people. Homeless people are the scum on the bottom of my foot.
go out of their way to create that account or to live in their mom's basement or whatever job they're working, could not even fathom the amount of work it takes to pull off something, whether it's a set or a good podcast or a business or merchandise, or, you know, it's just, it does not matter, you know? And I hope my son, I hope other people, they start to discredit those people even more.
You know what I think the genesis of this whole thing is? I'm just thinking about it now. Do you know what I think there is, this whole thing about it? I think as humans, personally for me, this is my theory. I think as humans, we have something intrinsic about us, something deep in our soul, something deep in our psyche, in our fucking hard-coded into our DNA, where we really respond negatively to people who we feel like have undeserved success. I think there's something in it. Because if you think about it really, all things considered, what has Brendan really done bad? Really? Apart from what's happened recently with the Annie Lederman and Khaled stuff, you know, trying to fuck your friend's flipping wife is pretty bad. But for the most part, what has he really done that's really been bad? He hasn't really stolen anybody's money. He hasn't murdered anybody. He hasn't stopped anybody's career that we know of, right? Apart from Bobby Lee, right? But what has he really done that's really been that bad? Not much. He's just come across like an asshole, but you're allowed to be an asshole, right? You're allowed to be a fucking piece of shit if you want to. But I think the reason why people really respond negatively to the guy is because they really believe his success is undeserved. Like, the platform that he has makes no sense to the flipping talent level that he has or to the quality of his output. It's like similar to like a guy I always talk about on here a lot, Dark Side Phil, DSP. You look at him and his streams, and he's making like what? $150 per stream on tips alone. Forget AdSense on tips. But he's got like, you know, maybe the same amount of viewers I have, right? And he makes like $100,000 a year doing that, begging all the time, fundraisers and all that sort of nonsense, right? And he makes like $100,000 a year, like $10,000 a month, crazy amounts of money. But obviously the quality of his work is terrible, but he makes an exorbitant amount of money. So people obviously look at it and think that doesn't make any sense, and they intrinsically go after it because, you know, there's something in your body that just doesn't, you get really annoyed and you get pissed off. Because you think about it, like I said, there is not that much about the guy that's that reprehensible. Of course, yeah, that kid as was it Hotep and Chill said, okay, the story about him in college was really bad, right? That he spat in the guy's face and ate his food because he didn't want to share. Bit terrible, right? Threw him through a glass window. Okay, terrible stuff to do. But for the most part, he's just been an asshole. But I think the fact that his success far outweighs his talent level makes people really angry, because it makes them reflect on their life and think, hold on, how the fuck have you been able to get so far in life, being redacted, not being able to speak properly, you know, English is your first language, but it sounds like it's your second or third, you know, you have dumb opinions, you don't research stuff, your opinions are terrible, and then your friends, whatever, all this, I think that's what comes into it, because I was just thinking about it just now, it's like, why is this guy so unlikable? I think that's the reason. The reason why is because his success does not match his level of talent or whatnot. Similar to the Kardashians, maybe. Kardashians maybe the same sort of thing, where people maybe attribute all the Kardashian success to that one Kim K sex tape, and if that didn't happen, would she be as successful as she is now? I'm not really too sure. Exactly, yeah, exactly, Dame. I need the support. I really do. More than ever. But yeah, let's play this anyway.
Because the type of person that were to go on YouTube and leave a negative message, to even create an account to be that.
Like, I'm sure people go online that really hate him and see this stuff and they're like, oh my God, mansions with a fucking balcony and many stairs and artwork on the walls and big funky cove sofas and floor to ceiling windows and massive TVs and voluptuous women. You'd be like, I think that's the main thing, because legit, like, there's many terrible comedians out there. There's many terrible podcast hosts, maybe myself included, many terrible shows. But he hasn't really done that much bad to people, like actually bad. But I think, honestly, the fact that he's so, like, you know, like I said, like, he had that, what's he got? He's got the most appearances on Joe Rogan ever as a single person. Does he really need to be on Joe Rogan more than once a year? Do you know what I mean? So maybe all of that stuff gets under people's skin. I'd imagine so.
Create an account to be that way is, I don't associate with those people. I don't know those people. It does not matter to me. So when people lets that affect their mood.
But I still say, sorry I keep pausing, but I still say that flipping trug walk and the Kalila thing is going to go down in history as one of his biggest own goals ever. Because life back then here was fairly sweet. He was getting ripped to pieces on the Fire and the Kid subreddit, but it was quite limited to the Fire and Kid subreddit. Comedians hadn't really gained the courage to come out and say his comedy stinks or to make fun of him or how he speaks or what he says. No, because he was Joe Rogan's boy at the time. Joe Rogan was in LA. He was protected by the big dog. He knew it. So he basically got away with murder. Life was sweet then. And then all of a sudden, I guess, he started to feel himself. He started to feel untouchable. And also he overestimated his importance to the comedy community and thought he could railroad people and take whatever they had, their women, notably, and it came and bit him in the ass. I legitimately think that has to go down as one of his biggest own goals, because as soon as that Kalila and Annie Lederman stuff happened, and again, the irony of it is, 3 women were the ones to stand up to him and say, you know, you're an asshole, and then all the other men kind of followed behind. Irony, not lost on me. But when that happened, that was then the beginning of the sort of kind of change in negative perception. Especially now, when you've got random YouTubers making videos on you, you know you've done something fucked up. It's one thing if people like me that focus on this stuff is talking about it, but when random YouTubers are talking about it, it's like, damn it, you know what I mean?
Their life, it's mind-boggling. It's crazy to me. What do you care? It'd be the same as if a cat created a profile. That's a good example. Who cares? Even a homeless guy. If a homeless guy was just creating a profile and talking shit. It doesn't.
Hey, I'm talking about
I've been street fight. I've been more street
I don't
fights
think
than
you've
you.
been in more than I've been. I don't. I've been in. I've been
you
in
grew
a
up
lot.
rich. What
I
are you
didn't grow up
talking?
ri- Hold on. Don't tell me that because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
That was such a great argument. Them grown men with kids at home in their one in his mid-30s. Bryan at the time was what, 55 probably or something, right? Arguing about who's been in more street fights. That, if you ever needed a sign, if you're a T-Fat-K fan and you were on the fence about the show, that was your sign. That was your sign to jump off, to decide, you know what, I'm done. 2 adult men with kids at home arguing about who's been in most street fights. Huh?
You've been more fights than me.
I've been in as many fights as you've been in.
Oh my
in the
Lost
street? I know
touch
you,
with
dude. You don't
reality.
fight. I know you. Don't tell me that.
Oh my god.
Wait. Why?
Old Callen. Jesus Christ, mate. That's a weathered face, isn't it? Old people, white people age like fucking avocados, isn't it? 1 minute they're young, next minute,
Wait. Why? You don't know me. You don't know how I grew up. As in getting in fights in a bar. You almost saw me get in 2 fights since you've known me. What are you talking about? Don't say that. You don't have the kind of temper I do. Don't act like you've been in more fights. You're acting like, oh, I grew up rich. First of all,
you did grow up rich though, Bryan, didn't you, mate? Come on. You don't go to school in Afghanistan and Pakistan because you like the curriculum. Do you know what I mean? You go there because your dad might work for the CIA, mate. That's probably why.
I'm sure I've been in more fights than you.
What? How many fights you been in?
I couldn't even count.
I know you. I know a lot of people. You grew up I know your personality. You weren't street fighting all the time.
I was street fighting. I was street fighting with my brother. The neighborhood we grew up in.
Sure, your brother.
It's the way we grew up.
Yeah, I fought plenty in high school and in college.
Okay, you're some badass.
I'm not.
You're some
why
badass.
are you saying-
How many times do you think they actually have had... I'm just thinking about it now. How many times do you think they've actually shared a beer? How many times do you think they've gone to a bar and had a beer after the show? Just, have a beer as friends. Let's catch up. Let's decompress after the show.
Brother, the neighborhood we grew up in.
Sure, your brother.
It's the way we grew up.
Yeah, I fought plenty in high school and in college.
Okay, you're some badass.
He's there beating up the fucking... He's there beating up the kids in Aleppo, right? He's there, the little neighborhood kids in Aleppo. Bryan Callen was terrorizing the kids over there, innit? Big B, man.
You're some badass
why are you saying
street fighter
that? Why are you
badass.
saying I'm a badass? Why are you doing that? You're being insulting.
I'm not being insulting. I just called you a badass.
No, you're not. You're being condescending. What you're saying?
How?
You're going, oh, you grew up rich and you haven't fought. Don't say that. You don't know me.
Why are you so upset?
Because I have a bad temper.
Do you see how I'm not upset? Because I know it's true.
Exactly.
Because I know it's true. I don't get defended.
So I'm making up stories.
You make up a lot of stories.
I make up a lot of stories? So I'm a liar.
Yeah.
I'm a liar.
Are you shitting me?
Tell me a story.
Oh, I fucking love it. That was a very good episode. I'm not going to lie. Very, very good to hear them bicker and argue over something so fucking insanely dumb and silly for 2 men with kids to be arguing over. It doesn't make any kind of sense. But again, LA things, innit? LA machismo things. What else we talk about here? What talk about? Oh yeah, look at this. So, do you want to see the fucking contrast between Brendan Brendan now trying to be Dana's enemy, to just earlier on this year with flipping what's his name, Bradley Martin? Hear what he said about Dana and their relationship. So that's how I think this was all a kind of a bit of a. He did this kind of on purpose because he wanted to, get some clicks and get some views back on his thing. I think so.
So now that I'm on the outside looking in, again, that manager was like, I know you and Dana have problems. I'm like, I don't know where that narrative keeps coming from. I love that dude.
What? That narrative, mate, you nearly destroyed his marriage. You were going back and forth with him on social media all the time back in the day. Do you know what I mean? Openly dissed him, the UFC, how they flipping run their business, the fact that maybe they rush people too much and they ruin fighters, their careers, blah 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 blah, money, all this shit. You were going after them for ages. How can he not know why the narrative is out there? You put the narrative. You created the narrative. You are the narrative. You are N.
Dude, I have no issues with Dana.
This is the thing I'm talking about being misunderstood. Like, I can personally relate to so many situations.
Yeah, but it's like, but that's how the news goes. Like, you're talking about 4 years ago. He sold his company. He's worth $400 million fucking dollars.
Yeah, he's
you see there? He's worth $400 million. That's why he wants to be his friend. That's why he wants to be Dana's friend now, because Dana's in such a position now where he's a legitimate power player, I guess, in LA. He, certain things, if he says it's a go, it's a go. If it's not a go, it's not a go. So maybe he's coming up against some obstacles in his career where he's like, you know what? I need to be his friend if I actually want to move around this city properly. That maybe is a telltale sign. Maybe it was all along. It was the fact that Dana became way more powerful after the ESPN deal, after they sold the company. That maybe is part of it.
About 4 years ago, he sold his company. He's worth $400 million fucking dollars.
Yeah,
I'm doing fine. Like, what animosity? Like, we're both good, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need anything from him. He doesn't need anything from me. I have no animosity towards him in any facet. If he called me and was like, "Hey, Brendan, we need you to do this to promote,"
he's never
the show
calling
next
you.
week. Yeah, you got it. Whatever he wants, man. I have zero animosity.
Right.
I like the guy.
Yeah.
Dude, my show's built off his platform.
Yeah.
Oh! And he just accused the UFC of stealing his food show. And now he is admitting that his entire show is built off their platform.
I have zero. So it's like this, like you're talking about shit from 4 years ago. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
No, I love Dana White, man.
Yeah, I have no issue with it.
So I'm wondering.
Honestly, man, these people, man, honestly, when you get that, you know what? Maybe to be completely honest too, maybe that is a good thing about LA in a weird way. It is so blatantly shallow, right? Like, if you're up, everyone wants to be your friend. When you're down, no one wants to be your friend. And if you're somebody that people don't like, but then you get up, everyone wants to be your friend regardless of that they don't like you as a person. That, I think, is one of the good things about it. Like, it's pretty black and white. So now that Dana is who he is now, and the UFC is probably more popular than it's ever been, Brendan wanting to cover the sport and be a fixture within the media around it, clearly has to be somewhat cordial with the main guy, or at least not be on flipping hate terms. So he's trying to worm his way back in there. But little does he know, Dana White's probably more petty and more vindictive and bitter and holding of grudges way more than Brendan is. Like, he's met his absolute match. And for once, there's one guy who doesn't need Joe Rogan. Because in other occasions, I'm sure, Brendan could get Joe Rogan to get on a line with the person and say, he's a good guy, I like him, he's my friend. And off the strength of that person respecting Joe, I can imagine them be like, you know what, I'll give Brendan another chance. But Dana is one person who doesn't care what Joe Rogan thinks about Brendan, because he's fucking made himself. And obviously in this occasion too, I'd imagine, Joe also probably doesn't want to get involved. Because he knows Brendan's wrong in some ways, and so is Dana wrong. He just doesn't want to get involved. Let's let them do their own thing. So it's the one time he's met somebody who he can't kind of bully with his status and with his flipping connections and shit. And look how much he's struggling. I mean, he's struggling. He doesn't know whether or not to hate the guy, whether or not to insult him. Is he does he try to wear jeans and hip train? Honestly, that comeback was so terrible. I can't believe how bad that comeback was. But yeah, Dana. But honestly, Dana is so petty, really petty. The things he's done to fighters, active fighters on the UFC roster, is something to be marveled at. How badly he treats his stars of his organization. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't give a fuck. So can you just imagine how badly he's going to treat actual, media figures who he looks at as the scum on the bottom of his foot anyway? If it was up to Dana, he would have, no press would ask any questions. You know what I mean? He'd run it like fucking North Korea. But he has to be somewhat reasonable, so, he kind of lets them do their thing. But Dana is a savage, so I'm not surprised. But anyway, another clip here, just to end it. Whoops. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear it, but this is courtesy of Legion of Skanks, and it's courtesy of the Fighting the Kids subreddit. So I guess they left the mics running at the end on purpose or on accident, and they picked up a little bit of Callen and Luis J. Gomez having a conversation in the background. I'm not sure if you can hear it. I'm going to put all the mics up so you can hear it loud and clear here. I'll put all the volume as high as I can. But essentially, Bryan Callen has said, you can hear him in the background basically saying, that Brendan's really sensitive. That's why he can't do stuff like this. Because I think Louis J. Gomez is saying, hey, this is really good. You should do more stuff like this. People love this sort of stuff. And Bryan's basically saying, yeah, Brendan will never do it because he's too sensitive and, you know, he gets in his feels.
Fan base would respect
I know,
it so
it's just
much.
great.
They love that. Yeah. He should, dude. He should own it. Well, that's the thing. Like we all like
Navy
we all just like,
in the
these
Navy.
guys trashed me the whole show. The whole fucking show. Yeah. All right. We'll do ads real quick. We'll be done in like 5 minutes. Yeah. You don't gotta hang up.
But anyway, you can hardly hear it. It's a little bit of a weak recording in general, but you can just about make out from what Louis J. Gomez is saying that, hey, this is really good. Our fans are going to love this, in terms of him, you know, Bryan basically putting himself up to be, you know, ridiculed and mocked by the Legion of Skanks crew. And obviously with everyone knowing the history between the LA and New York comics and all the drama that's gone on with them, Bryan Callen's R-word charge or R-word allegation, you know, Brendan going through what he went through with Kalila and Annie and all that Bobby Lee drama and stuff. Clearly there's, you know, it'll be fun to see Callen kind of degrade himself, even though I think it's quite embarrassing. And even though I think Callen's only on there because his Hollywood career is essentially non-existent, but still, what Louis J. Gomez is saying is right. Fans will like it. It will go down well if you went on there and actually made a joke of it and actually was able to laugh at yourself. And obviously, and you know what? Also, people just move on. If even if it was the Kalila and the Annie stuff, if he just leans into it and has a joke about it and says, "Whoops, I fucked up. Whoops, next time I should press unsend or whatever," people will just laugh and move on. But when you start getting emotional, when you start suing YouTubers, when you start deleting comments, when you start getting all pissy and not taking responsibility and trying to bully people behind the scenes, people are going to just keep going on and on and on. So it really did end up being a massive own goal for the guy. But hey, not my problem. Anyway, I'm done now. I have to leave. Unfortunately, I have to go and do real life things. So this is the end of the Random Show episode number 48. Thanks again for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to have your company, all of you. If it's the first time of you tuning into the show, please make sure you hit that like button for me. Hit that like button for me. Hit that like button for me. Obviously, if you want to come back again, hit subscribe. That'd be greatly appreciated. And lastly, a point to make here. I've also started a separate channel for the Random Show, which I'm going to be building up slowly. I haven't got the flipping permission to live stream on it yet, but I will start doing the live stream on there too. So I'm going to be putting all the clips of the Random Show on this channel to hopefully build it up and get the views on there, get the subs on there. So if you want to sub to this new channel, please do. It is called Random Show with AgostinhoZinga. You can find it on YouTube. You can search for it this way. Again, I haven't got a good URL for it, but I need to get a URL for it. When I do, I'll link in the screen chat. But if you just search that in the search bar, you can find that channel, subscribe to it, and I put some clips up on there from the other Random Show and all the other ones and all the ones coming from that will all be put on there. And I'll obviously be uploading that internally so I can kind of split the content and make it nice and clean and have the Agostino Show just for my podcast and of the Random Show, obviously for the Random Show stuff. Pretty easy to understand, but this is what I'm going to end up doing. So make sure you subscribe to the Random Show with Agostino channel. You can see the clips, and I have the clips for this uploaded hopefully in the next few days and whatnot. But yeah, check it out if you haven't already. But in general, thanks again for checking me out. It's been a pleasure to have your company. It's been super, super fun for this quick fire stream. I came in hot, I came in hyped. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you had a good time. And if you did, you know what to do. Smash the like, smash the dislike, subscribe, don't subscribe, whatever you want to do. I do appreciate just for you tuning in regardless. Episode number 40.